can take your time while you're learning it. Where you about to be is not where you reside currently. We gonna teach you how to
Good morning, people. Good morning again, all my BYOBers. What's up, Pippin? You guys, don't forget as you log into the call, it is important that you're dropping it in the chat. You guys, what is it you're dropping in there? Them affirmations. I go through them with you again. I am an educated BYOB master trader, anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All of my trades and in profit. I am 777. Good morning, you guys, and never forget that mindset is a skill set. Continue to drop it in the chat as you are logging in. Again, good morning, Toledo, Ohio, and Cleveland, Ohio. Good morning, Detroit, Minnesota. Man, I'll tell you a crazy story I heard. Somebody said that Delta was offering people on this one flight $10,000 to onboard a overbooked flight from Michigan to Minnesota. People were refusing it. I was like, man, I don't care what I got going on. Free 10 bands like that, you got me messed up. Good morning. Hey, dropping the lyrics in it. How many of y'all like being broke? Rhetorical, right? Now, good morning, you guys. Let me remind you guys that we are always at work with this. Mob Squad is going to be in the building. Today is Wednesday, and this afternoon at 12 p.m., we are going to be speaking in Clubhouse. If you guys haven't done so yet, go ahead and make sure you open that app store, get that Clubhouse download, and get part of these conversations, guys. You are truly missing out if you haven't been a part of any of these just yet. And you guys, as well, on Tuesdays, we come together at 5 p.m. on rejoice904.com on Bridging the Gap radio show as a unit to get into these conversations that are developed around the strategy, right? Because like I said before, mindset is a skill set. You got to get into these conversations of wealth building principles. Again, back into those app stores, BYOB Movement Worldwide is what you want to be downloading after you get that Clubhouse app. We've got community, you guys, push notifications and all type of stuff we want to impact you with, you guys. If you want to reach out to educators, hit them up on the platform. You want to drop your 777s, put them on the app, you guys, in the community section. You know, if you want a good space to start dropping your affirmations in the morning, put them up there on the app, you guys. Download it and be impacted. Here's our line key, which we are always going to go over. Good morning, Nigeria. This is our line key, which we're always going to example, right? Because I always want to make sure no one ever gets lost amongst all the colors that we have, right? That's the whole purpose behind the colors, is to make sure we know exactly what we're looking at anyways. Yellow lines, as we're going to see them, yellow boxes, are going to represent support and resistance. We use those in different formats because we know that, you know, through our developed skill set, our support and resistance becomes our trade entries and our take profits, all that good stuff. So we want to get used to using them in different formats. That way we're not always getting so caught up and not knowing where we're at in the market. We don't want to have 16 same yellow lines on the chart, you know, you guys. Now, just like any red boxes, any red lines are going to represent stop loss and validation. This is an important part of your trade journey. We are not out here gambling in the market. We want you guys operating in discipline and consistency. Part of that discipline is going to be in operating in stop loss. Any of these educators out here that I've told you before that you don't need stop loss, shame on them, because they put your account at risk. And they really just set you off on a bad path, okay? We want to make sure that we're using discipline and precise methods. We never want to be at such a position where we're risking everything that we try to earn on a daily basis, right? Any values you see in orange are going to represent our harmonic scanner trades when referencing our currency pairs. Now, being that this is an indices focused call, when you're seeing those orange lines and we're on our indice pairs, they're going to represent more so of a bigger picture analysis, not necessarily the harmonic scanner values. And as you have them labeled up here, these light blue lines are going to give us an idea of our psych levels, right? Now, we know we use these in different formats as well because there are different types of psych levels. You have your major ones, you have your mid-range ones, then you have your intermittent ones in between all of those that keep you in perspective. Now, as well, guys, I want you to take note that we use purple rays for pivots. And we use white rays for vibrato trigger alerts, you guys. Always keep in mind that we use all of these lines intentionally. Like I said, we don't want to get so lost up in the charts that we're not paying attention to where we're at in the market. Okay. And we'll get into more of a discussion of that as we go through the class. But in the meantime, we've got events coming around the corner, you guys. BYOB movement event or BYOB movement.eventbrite.com, and that's bright with a BRITE. So I want you to find yourselves at, okay? Because like I said, we've got events coming up. And this month we've got them on the 16th of July. Now this event is taking place over a weekend. This is a Saturday and Sunday event. On the 16th of July, we're going to be in Cleveland, Ohio, Jacksonville, Florida, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you guys. But as well on Sunday, we're going to be live in London on the 17th of July. Now our CONUS times are going to be at 10 a.m. When we get across the waters, we're at 4 p.m. These are all local times, so you guys make sure you're tapping in, you're paying attention to what you got going. Okay. But we want to make sure you're getting registered for these events and getting involved in the movement, get impacted, be immersed by the movement, you guys. All right. Because this journey is so much bigger than us. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, again, if you are brand new to the call, drop a 111 in the chat. First time hearing this call, first week with BYOB, whatever's your level, drop a 111 in the chat. And again, for all my master disciplined, educated traders returning for more of the skill set, drop them 222s in the chat. From all my 111s, I need you starting here. BYOB success steps. This is on our homepage. Excuse me. This is on our homepage. BYOB success steps is where we're starting at, because this currency exchange thing is a journey. All right, you guys, and it's not all about the charts. It's not all about the money. Okay, if you're rushing to get to a chart and make a trade, and you've already had one of those false starts, like they have in track and field and all that. One of them false starts. What you need to do is find yourself down here at the homepage. We have these available in the app as well. But make sure you're utilizing these BYOB success steps. That way your mind is geared in the right direction, the right path for success. This path is going to lead you to our YouTube channel. BYOB Movement Worldwide is what you want to be typing in those search bars. Once you get here, make that subscribe button past tense for us. As you can see that we stream live from Facebook or from YouTube. We do so as well from Facebook, you guys. But if you're going to share the Facebook page, just please make sure you do it from the public educational page and not the private group page, right? Because can't nobody else see that. While you're here, though, we need to make sure we're spending time in this playlist section of the page. Okay. Now, market mastery is the conversation that you and I have been in since the top of the year. Just a couple points from it, a couple of the classes. The playlist section really caters to all levels of understanding. But most importantly, you guys, is that we're coming into this market structure playlist and spending time employing ourselves here. All right. It's got so many topics for you guys that have already been laid out. This information is still so important for you guys' trading journeys. I want you guys to be impacted by that. Okay. So market structure, making sure you guys are watching these videos as many times as you need to. Write down your questions, take them to the videos, and I promise you guys, if you guys are in there digging deep, you guys are going to find the answers that you see. Now, again, as you continue to log in, continue dropping those affirmations. Loving to see all my 222 coming back into the call. Jacksonville, Florida. Good morning, my billionaire. Good morning, Essex, UK. Good morning. Got some master traders in here. Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome. Sunrise, Florida. Good morning in Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome back, everybody. So we all know here, because we're all familiar, that we're checking with the news. And I hope you guys got your charts open, your notes ready and everything right now, because today is one of those days where we've got news at 9 o'clock. You guys thought I was just checking news forever for no reason, huh? Y'all just thought I was doing it just to do it. Nah, man, these economic releases, they be hitting, they be happening. All right, they be hitting, they be happening. So make sure you're always checking out no matter what time frame you're in, or what time zone you're in, what currency pairs you're trading. No matter what, you guys make sure you're always rep for you lock in with the affirmations first, then you lock in with the news. All right. Here we see it at 9 o'clock. We've got a whole speech happening right now. And at 9:45, we can see this final services PMI. Now at 10 o'clock, we've got red folders. We got these JOLTS job openings, and then a nice juicy orange folder right there in the ISM services PMI. And then at 2 o'clock, we've got another red folder with the FOMC meeting minutes. All right, you guys. Now I can definitely say that this right here is one of those important reports that the market's looking out for. So you definitely want to be in position at 2 o'clock, and that's Eastern time, to analyze how the market reacts to that. We are going to make sure we are checking multiple news sources, though. Multiple news sources. Always, you guys. And here we go and check a more descriptive version of that final services PMI was. As you can see, we should be looking towards our S&P for some activity. Our ISM Services Employment Index and our ISM, that's the Institute of Supply Management. Their service prices paid. You guys, this one right here is just going into a little bit more detail on those reports that have been released. As you can see, they were tracking the Red Book index as well up there right before the top of the hour. FOMC meeting minutes, and then the next red folders are in our AUDs. Going to our next news source. They're trying to skip ahead on us, ain't they? Get on up here to our time frame, and we're seeing red folders surrounding those S&P global services. There's that global composite inflation rate. This is for Ecuador. Same thing. Got a red folder attached to that. Time frames, 10 o'clock, all the same. JOLTS, FOMC meeting minutes, 14. We got crude oil stock exchange at 1630, which is 4:30, and red folders down here with the AUD. So we're not seeing any changes. And it is important that as you go through these sites, you guys, that you are making sure that you are refreshing each time. All right. It is important. It is important, you guys, because there is economic release that happens, like those breaking news statements. Just because this isn't CNN going across your screen and somebody talking constantly doesn't mean that news doesn't get updated and changed. You know, like how you frequently see me on FX Street when they're caught, they just automatically refresh your page. It's because things throughout the day change. All right. Water. Things throughout the day change, though, you guys. So we always want to be in a position to never be so caught up in the day's activity that we're neglecting anything that does happen, right? So again, making sure you're tapping in with multiple news sources, making sure you're always tapping in with your mindset, affirmations, and then just getting an understanding for it all. All right, you guys. Now let's talk BYOB real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and pull from this Euro JPY. I didn't need a. Let's do the vertical. All right, Euro JPY 15-minute time frame is where the strategy is exampled. Let's go to analyze this. All right, let's look at this because we have some. If for all my seasoned traders, you'll see. Either way, so blue line cross of the red, downward momentum around the 80. Looking for this sell to analyze this sell. We got to be in our stochastic first, right? We got to be in our stochastic because it's events like these that really trigger our attention. All right, the momentum is shifting. The stochastic is a momentum indicator. And right here, when we have the blue line crossing with the red and downward momentum, we have that shift happening. All right. So from here, we look at our candles. All right, we use Heikin-Ashi candles here with BYOB. our strategy is back tested at a 92% accuracy rate, you guys. So don't get to using other candles thinking that they apply. These are trend candles. And we're looking for very specific things with them. Above that blue line crossing over the red and down over momentum. What we need to identify next is the flat topped red candle with the PSAR flip, Flat top red candle with the PSAR flip, flat top candle with the PSAR flip. All right, this is the PB&J. This is the B with the B and the Q. You know, you don't want the BB and no Q. You know, you got to have the flat top candle with the PSAR flip. And I do say that in line like that because that's how they appear. Whereas in these little dots we're traveling beneath the candles before, right here where we had this flat top candle, the first plate, these dots flipped. I'll put that back. The dot flipped right here above this flat top candle. Now it wasn't the first flat top candle. You know, it wasn't the first candle in series where we saw. But what we do have is that flat top candle. All right. Now I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys space to stop me at any given time for questions, comments, and testimonies, as well as any currency pairs that you would like to see analyzed on the call. Good morning, Cleveland, Ohio. Once we acknowledge this in the 15-minute time frame, we must take ourselves up to the 1 hour to answer a question. Here, the question was, can I sell? Can I sell? Am I in a position to sell? Right now, at the 1 hour, it wasn't the let's see, the picturesque, if I'm using that, the ideal space. You know, when we come down here to the stochastic, we're pointed directly up, right? We're pointed directly up. Now, this is important while we're getting an idea for support and resistance, you guys. This is why it's important we're getting an idea for support and resistance. Because if you go in between these parameters, let me make that yellow before I move too fast. You know, support and resistance just isn't specifically the extreme highs and the extreme lows of the market. You know, support and resistance is places in the market where price action reacts, where it gets held up, right? An area where price was either supported or it resisted and rejected off of. All right. All right. So you go to these places and we'll look at that down at the 15-minute time frame. And look, you guys, as you're seeing strength bouncing between the zone, right here, when we come up to that resistance, we had that nice flat topped candle. Now, we also had a flat bottom candle here. Flat bottom candle here, PSAR flip, Genesis. What happened? Well, what happened is you were very much so in a space to take that 10 pips, right? Let's start talking about that. Let's start breaking that down a little bit. You were very much so within every rhyme and reason to gain your 10 pips within this space. Let's see what that was. See, that box has got a matter of 30 pips there, right? 30 pips. You guys have got to be able to translate these little this ruler changes from screen to screen. And that's why you got to get into that pip count, really. But you have every rhyme and reason. Now, when we're talking about taking longer trades, taking shorter trades, this is when we have to get up to that 4 hour. Let's get into that top-down analysis, right? Let's get into that top-down analysis. And what we see here is that 4 hour time frame, we were steady in that oversold space. What we've been talking about here recently is how we are subject to the sentiment of the market in these spaces. So what I'm saying is when you're around your areas of support and resistance, BYOB is dynamic. It is a market strategy. There's no one right answer to this. Outside of a consistency and responsibility. It takes just discipline. I guess that was a little bit, I expanded on that a little bit, huh? But let me tell you guys, when you're at your areas of support and resistance and you see these triggers, you can have that happen. But when you're up here analyzing at the higher time frames, you've got to realize that when you're in oversold spaces, overbought spaces, we're taking short trades because we're subject to the sentiment of the market. There is no technical analysis that's supporting, hey, we're about to buy or about to sell. Now down here where you're actively selling, but we're looking for positions to buy. We're looking for positions to buy when we're down here. My point being is that up here at the 4-hour time frame, if you're not taking into account where you're at in the market, what's really happening, then you're going to be deceived upon what, like, when you're taking short trades, when you're taking long trades. Short trades by meaning like 10 pips. 10 pips would be a short trade. Some people call it scalping or whatever, but it's a short trade. Going long, in a matter of 100 pips, we're talking now 40, between 40 and 100 pips, we're going long. 20 to 30, that can still be a relatively short trade. That's like that gray space. But when we're talking going long, we want, 40 and up, when we're in spaces, oversold spaces like this, overbought spaces like this, we're not going for those great numbers. All right. We're actively analyzing the strength of the trades, going for what we know. Now, the entry that we seek is down here at the 5-minute, you guys. Entry is so important. Entry is so important. Entry is so important. All right. Because those flat top candles, are also indications of so we're talking about the sell, right? We're going to get into some dynamic here. We're talking about the sell here. And what is it that shows us that the sell was stronger than the buy, right? Because we analyze this going through. This is what we be talking about all the time when we're saying patience, profit. Now, you can get into these trades, the 5-minute on your currency pairs is a space for entry. You can get into these trades when you have a wick candle, PSR flip. You can risk it. Yeah, you can risk it. But we're not talking about doing that with BYOB, right? With BYOB, we very intentfully wait for those flat top red candles or those flat sided candles with the PSR flip. Now, why I'm saying strength, why what would have given you more confidence in sticking through this. For one, this right here would have been a whole lot of madness for you. All this correction, all this pullback, that was some serious volatility there, right? That we don't even aim to be a part of. But for those of you go-getters, those of you attempting to expand into continuation and getting into taking longer trades, you guys, this is a whole signal right here that we're going to, that in this area, we can expect activity like this. There was no clean break when we pushed up to this buy. Now, you could definitely take room for priority here in this area. As you can see, there was a really nice pullback in re-entry space. The re-entry was just like the initial move into the trade. Then we get over to here, you guys, and our first move, or our first candle that we had take interest in, where we have that PSR flip. It didn't have that wick space like it did down here with this buy, but it was solid. We had flat top red candle PSR flip right here. Let's even expand into the stochastic. What we see here is that we're actively selling, right? We're actively selling down here on the 5-minute, right? So we have strength into this movement, and when we get down here, what you guys need to be doing in sound operation is exiting your trades in the space. When it comes back down to your point of resistance, you need to get into the habit of, this is your take profit, take it and go. Take it and go. As you can see, there are new re-entries into the trades. There are entries into the trades right here at this was that resistance that was broken through. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was a support that was broken through. You can see how there were more solid entries into that trade, right? What we don't want to do is get so used to making ourselves subject to all these corrections, right? That's a lot of volatility in those spaces. That can really have some of you guys questioning yourselves. You get in exiting in your trades, losing money that you didn't have to, so let's operate in discipline with our take profits and make sure we're closing out our trades in responsible places. Okay, now let's get into our indices, you guys. Get into indices. And what I want to remind you guys of what I want to remind you guys of is that at 9:30, we are not in a rush to enter into any trades. Now, for those of you guys that don't like to heed advice, more power is known to have a specific amount of liquidity push right there when the bell opens, when the market's fresh. Okay. It has a significant push of liquidity, you guys. We want to make sure that we're not just being so subject to it. Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, while we intentfully make our way past that bell, is make a point. Because yesterday when we got onto the call, we looked like we were like the 4 hour was pointing down like hard, like we were watching out for those opportunities to sell. And I was telling you guys that it wasn't the opportunity to enter into that sell just yet. Here we are, 13:30 around the time frame today. If we look in the time space for yesterday, that our box kind of starts around there when we're at that call, right? Uh, big old surges of liquidity hit for a while. We were looking for the drops though. I told you guys one, so this more represents like where we were around that call, because I was telling you guys we were looking to consolidate around this line. Our 4 hour was pointed down, but our 1 hour was already oversold. Like I told you, we didn't have the strength to get into that sell. Told you guys that we should expect it to consolidate around this area. Now let's analyze that activity, okay? Because I don't want you guys feeling that you're ever at a lack for opportunity, right? I was telling you guys that we were looking out for that sell, but look at where that sell actually happened. Look at where that strength was. We're here on the 30-minute time frame. That was quite a bit before we got that real drop. That technical drop. We had some strength in them, but there was, like I was telling you guys, that around this line we were going to be expecting some really nasty pullbacks, some corrections, and all that stuff. And look at the activity that followed there. Wait, that's the 1st of July. I am tripping. I am tripping. Well, I don't even know where I pulled that from. I did that one way too fast. See, that's just another good testament to why we don't get to look at the candles first, you guys. to be honest with you. So 13. Yeah, let's get into some excellent execution here. I want to make sure that we know what we're talking about here. So back to it, you guys, to analyze that activity. I think we had used this to speak on what was going to happen in this space. So we talked about that consolidation in this area when the 4 hour was pointed down. Let's get into picture of that. You see how that 4 hour was pointed directly down. We were looking for that sell, right? The market was selling, but what I was telling you guys, because of support and resistance, I identified the significant low in which we were at, right? All that presumed activity there that we expected to see here. And after our yellow line, you guys can see that pullback that I mentioned. 555 for everybody that remembers that from yesterday's class. Because and with the nature of the market that we're hearing in the news, it's going to be often that we're going to be having to navigate our way through mixed signals. All right. And I want you guys prepared for that. Dope. Now, what we did not do was consolidate, right? Or we didn't consolidate at this line necessarily. Let's get back here. We didn't consolidate at this line, but instead we consolidated up here. This was good for us. You know what I mean? This is why we don't get into these negative spaces talking recession and blah, blah, because all of these candles still represent trillions of dollars of activity. Investors still looking for opportunity in the market. You can either be down about a recession or you can be one of the people who becomes a millionaire in the recession, because it's times like these that new millionaires are created. Times like COVID and times where most people like to get emotional and such like that. If you guys are diligent in exercising patience and excellence, there's plenty of opportunities yesterday, as you can see, for strong movement in the market. Now, like I said, we were analyzing that drop. But what was it that told us, you guys? What was it that gave us that clue to tell us why we weren't just jumping into that sell? And before you guys start, I don't want to get anybody get distracted, because it wasn't anything else. It wasn't the oversold time frame necessarily, because when we come to the 1 hour, we were still looking for that sell. No matter what, because we're not emotionally attached to the trades, we have got to analyze what's happening. We were looking out for that sell. But when we took support and resistance into the picture, and we started identifying the significance of this low in the market that we were at, and you guys, there was a lot to tell us that we weren't so geared up all the way for that. Now, I know this is a long explanation. This is a whole educational piece and all that, but you guys, only get you for an hour in this time space. So I want to make sure that should we continue to come across these mixed signals, that you're identifying what's happening, that you should definitely still be in position in the market. I never want you guys so caught up in these charts thinking that, oh, I missed such and such. No, you didn't miss it. All right, you just got to catch up onto that next little wave. All right, just catch up onto that next wave, you guys. So let's analyze what we've got for today, because we're still technically in that space. We never broke out of that area. We're up here on the higher time frame. We can get a good eye for that motion. Let's draw this down. Let's pull this up some more. I'm actually going to use off of that box down here. We can delete this because from yesterday's example. And I will pull this down tighter, as a matter of fact. This is a really significant area. We can actually see. I'll pull another box. Now in the world. All right, I'm actually going to turn this one yellow. We can see the area that we're approaching, right? Price action, my green line that we're buying is in this box here. So let's expand that. We can make this one tiny for perspective. I don't want you guys getting lost by all these colors. They're all intentional. Every single one of them. Let me close this on out. We are by that 31,000. See, we just passed the bell, and that's where we're at. Place that correctly. $31,000. Go down into that 1 hour. All right, and we definitely see where we have strength from this buy. Let's go into that 4 hour, because the stochastic here tells us that we are pointed up. We're in a very narrow area here, okay? You do need to pay attention when those lines are so close together. All right, but when we go down to that 1 hour, our stochastic is telling us there's strength behind that buy. We're also seeing where we had a flat bottom green candle with a PSR flip right here in our area of support and resistance. All right, it's also right there at that cycle level. So let's drop that down to the 30-minute. We see we have strength for that. All right, new 30-minute candle. See what that 15-minute buddy was talking about. Looking like we have space for re-entry here and soon. 30-minute. Let's see, back 5-minute. Let's see what we're talking about. Yeah, it's trying to create that space for re-entry. All right. So let's analyze for that buy, you guys. Let's analyze that for that buy, or let's look out for that buy right now. But the closer we get to this area of resistance here, do I have this one as the box, or is that yeah, that's a box. Let's go ahead and delete that. And let's not get so wrapped up beyond this space. All right. What we might see is that we dance around in the zone for quite some time, not forgetting that we have those FOMC meeting minutes coming out later. Let me go ahead and delete these other lines down here. Don't really have anything to do with where we're at. And let's throw a pivot or two down. See if we're being affected by anything else as well. Oh, geez. I guess that was our pivot. I like when that happens. Go ahead and identify that. Is the pivot right there on the cyclable? Oh, no, it wasn't a cyclable. There it is. There it is. All right. So yeah, you guys, I'll definitely say we're bullish to the pivot at least. All right, but the closer we get to this space, you guys, we're not looking to trade outside of that pivot right now. Now we let's see how to say that. Oh yeah, I'll just get back to the point that I was in. We could definitely expect to be like in this range here for some time, is what the market, the technicals really speak to. But however, be in position definitely around that pivot to continue analyzing that buy, right? To continue analyzing that buy. We never want to take ourselves out of the mix, and we will take ourselves over to that S&P. Some grade A for you guys. S&P, we'll get on up to that 4 hour. You guys, are there any currency pairs that you'd like me to analyze? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. 4 hour is looking more, well, no, I can't say more so like that. The US 30, we are, it does confirm the activity on the US 30, how we want to make sure we're not going too far outside that pivot. We've definitely got some consolidation that we're facing here, right? Let's actually, can delete this one. Delete this one. And I'll make this one y'all. Make this one y'all. All right, and we're more so going to look out for the drop on there. Let's see what the 1 hour says. So we've got some mixed signal. Yeah, we've got some mixed signals. And this really could honestly take, as far as S&P is concerned, take us into that overbought space, to be real with you. So we're going to be having a watchful eye for that drop, but there could be some strength to this. So let's check that back with our news. So we got GU and 𝐦𝐤𝐤. All right. I think I accidentally closed my CADs out earlier, so that's cool. We'll get back into that. S&P FOMC meeting minutes 2 o'clock, jolts at 10. This is for the S&P 9:45, 3 minutes. Okay, that's what's going on. All right, so let's do that up real quick. 𝐥𝐤𝐤, so we want gold as well. Okay. We'll watch this S&P here then. It's not the S&P. We'll watch the S&P, do that analysis real quick, and we'll get into those currency pairs for you guys. All right, so 4 hour, we are buying. 4 hour does have confluence for that buy. All right, so we have rhyme and reason to believe that we're going to be pushed up into the sentiment of the market, being that the 4 hour liquidity should push up here above the 80. So again, I wouldn't go for a long trade there, you guys, just with the nature of where the 4 hour is at. The 1 hour does speak for strength into that sell, but with the way those signals are reading, you could be in a line to experience some volatility. And remember, mind you, we're at the 1 hour time frame. Each one of these candles represents 1 hours of activity. You can see some heavy consolidation here on the S&P, right? Now, what we do have is PSAR flip on our area of resistance, as if though we should break through here. So we're going to analyze for that, right? We are going to analyze for that. Let's get rid of this. Actually, let's just make this orange. I don't want to get rid of that. Drop some pivots on the chart. We got 1 minute so that so those values come out to be released. Make sure you guys don't get to clicking on your charts a whole bunch of times. If your computer delays or whatever, just click it once and go with it. I did it again. I played with your charts, but pivots in the game. I guess the bigger baby wanted to say hello to you guys this morning. All right. But you see what happens, you guys, when you guys really get into challenging support and resistance on your own. Don't laugh at me like that, Miss Monet. So when you get into real, like, you can see these things in the market, you guys. I love it when stuff like that happens. But you guys see me all the time. I'll drop my support and resistance, come back to find out that it was a pivot. All right. Oh, you like my song, you like my jingle? I told you guys when I was a kid, I wanted to make jingles. I wanted to. All right. All right. So here we are with this. We can see some rejection off that pivot happening. Let's get into that 15 minute. That 30 minute isn't really telling us nothing. There we go. That rejection off of that pivot. I love it. I love it. I love it. Short trades. Short trades. To be honest with you guys, I too often don't even get caught up with this activity right here by the bell. You know, I use these the bell activity and the news breaks to apply to my analysis, right? Heavy consolidation in this area. Let's see what that 30 minutes speaking to. We've got some serious mixed signals here. You guys, let's look for that to drop. 46, we should have values. $45, let's just redo it. Sometimes they have little green arrows that come over here and populate EMI, so we're doing good. Let's go ahead and read into this. The source is market measures the level of diffusion index between based on surveyed purchasing managers in the services industry. Actual being greater than forecast is good for currency release monthly on the third business day after the month. Above 50 indicates industry expansion. Below indicates contraction. The previous listed is the actual from the flash release, and therefore the historical data will appear unconnected. There are two versions of this report released about a week apart, flash and final. The flash release is the earliest and thus tends to have the most impact. The source first released in December of 2013. Why do we care? It is a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to the market conditions, and purchasing managers hold perhaps the most current and relevant insight into the company's view of the economy. Now when we analyze this from the fundamental aspect, you guys, you can see where we're still above 50. So there's still strength behind those buys. All right. The reason why we can still expect to see rallies and all that, while we're not all completely down and out, while we don't have the greatest numbers, you know, it's not a 54, it's not a 72, none of that like that. You know, there's still essence in the basics. Okay. 2 is still not 2.7 is still above 50. So what we're going to do is be optimistic about this. Now we're not attached to any of this. We're just optimistic in being that we can look out for strength in these buys. When we talk about what we bring this activity to the chart, right? Our push of liquidity, just like I was pointing out to you guys earlier. Let's see, get back in the point here. I think it might just be because I have my laptop plugged up. All right, but let's talk about that entry, right, you guys? Let's talk about that entry. Now, when we talk about this pullback, right? Because I said we're looking out for it to drop right now. All right, it looks like it's gonna sell for a little bit. Now we definitely have to analyze activity as it gets closer to this space, but we weren't in a position to enter into that trade though, right? Let's look at what it had down for us at the 3-minute. All right, our first candle in our space for entry, right, did not have that flat topped candle. If we were going to sell, we did not have that flat topped red candle. You know, we're right here rejecting off of that pivot. Should we be selling with strength, we would have had that flat top candle, right? Because the excuse me, I don't want to cough. Because when we get into like the breaking down the factors and stuff like that, you guys, these time frames are still relevant with our higher time frames. All right, we're just talking about like a specific significance between like the 15 and the 1, or the 30 and the 4, the 5 and the 1 hour. You know how those correlate. But we still don't have strong strength to this sell. All right. So what we're going to expect is that we're still looking out for that optimism, for that consumer optimism in the market. We're going to look for strength in our buys. Okay, we're going to look for strength in our buys. Now, again, you guys, I don't want you taking trades that are too long. All right. As your analysis develops through the day, you know, you get more rhyme and reason, more indication. You can start taking longer trades, or keep on with short trades, or this, that, and third. But as for this immediate space, you guys, being that we're bouncing in between this area of let's see, yeah, we can call that support, and our pivot at being our resistance, right? We could reject through, we could bounce through here just like we saw happen. Let's zoom in. Look at how much activities happened in this space between this line and this and our pivot, right? Look at how much activities happened, right? Clearly, this is going to be a significant area of support, all right? So what we're going to analyze is, because up on our 4-hour gave us some confidence. Not only did our fundamentals, but our 4-hour gave us some confidence. All right, let's get back and make sure nothing's changed. We have to actively analyze. Look at that stochastic. Yeah, we're still pointed up, but we can definitely see rhyme for why I'm telling you we're taking those short trades, right? While we're taking those short trades, right? Mind you, it does not take 4 hours for this to move. All right, the stochastic is encouraged by money, liquidity. All right, so where are we at? 8 minutes. Let's get into those. 𝐥𝐤𝐤, where's my gold? Gold's here. 4 hour. Let's get our metals triggering. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 2.5 hours go on a sell. 4 hours down here in this oversold territory. All right. So let's analyze my last support that we broke through, because we can see some significant activity where we have this really nice fat bodied candle, and where we pulled back. This is a significant area. Okay, so we're going to use this as our support. As soon as that line populates. Pull you on down here. Let's take you to the left to verify. It's been some time since price action's been there. Wait, they're still populating. Oh, okay. So I hit him on the money then. I hit him right there on the money. Price actions are already testing another support. All right, we're gonna change this one. Drop another one there. Because we are selling, but I wouldn't sell past either one of these lines, either one of those. The 4-hour does not speak for strength to that sell. All right. Let's see what we got here. Let's look at the trend. We have consolidation here. Let's start looking at some stuff. We're at the 4-hour. We consolidated here. Did the same here. See what that 1-hour is talking about. Get into that stochastic, expands you out. Yeah, stochastic is speaking for that buy there, as if though it's already run its course. I wouldn't be looking for strength into any entries into these cells, right? If we're talking entering into a cell here, let's get in to see what that's going to have to look like. If we're looking for a cell here, we actually need to come all the way beneath here, retest at this significant one up here, and then look for re-entry. Right now, I would be in position to look for strength and buys. Let's see what our pivots have to say about that. I'll delete this. Pivots on the chart. Oh yeah, we're already down here at our S1. There's still going to be some activity for here. That pivot's going to pull that for some time. That pivot level is going to pull that for some time. Make sure I don't move anything I don't want to move. All right, but our main is up here. Main's up there, so I'm definitely not analyzing that for the S2 right now. All right, we got some significant questions to answer around some certain spaces before we start talking S2. I'd be analyzing for that buy. Let's see what the 30 minutes talking about. Yeah, huge rejection off of that S1. And you can see where our corrections are starting to get nastier there, right? So I would be analyzing for the strengths in that buy right into that 5-minute. Yeah, I think that's already starting to happen, to be honest with you. See what the 3-minute says. Boy, stop. I ought to make y'all pay me for this, right? I should. Still no PSAR flip just yet. I'm not saying that's entry. That is not entry. All right. No. Don't get it. Don't jump on it. Don't jump on that. All right. But what I'm saying is that we are watching that happen. Okay. Now, where we're going to see strength where we're going to see like real strength for that entry is after the retest. Okay. Should this pop on up, right? We get that retest and then we come in for that strength. That's where we're going to find strength for that. All right, when we're talking patience, you guys, even when them fools get to gamble on the roulette table, they gotta wait for the table to stop spinning, right? Your table's not gonna stop spinning until up here. We're gonna put what is it, 4 on yellow. I don't know how you guys gamble. I'm not a gambling man myself. It's purely at the movies, but that's where we're gonna see strength for that. All right, when we come up past this level and that retest. So what we see is good indication that we're headed for that area. We can see that strong rejection off of this pivot, but I don't want to get you guys so caught up in entry. Let me let's look back at the 𝐥𝐤𝐤, CADS, GU. All right. And then we'll go to that CAD JPY. I did, I know I accidentally closed that out before the call. So we'll get into that. See where our 15-minute, hey, we're right there on there. It looks like we're analyzing the buy. Would you look at that? All right, so let's analyze this buy here. Go up to the 1 hours. Well, actually, let's take it up to the 4 hour. Let's see where strength is. All right, we're definitely analyzing for that buy. We are oversold, grossly oversold. See what the 1 hour is talking about. Yeah, definitely good space for that. Yep. Yep. You did it. You did it. Going through a nice little pullback here. This is what that looks like. You know, that wasn't a flat. This isn't a trade that you would enter into, right? So why get out of it? For those of you guys sitting through pullbacks and corrections and stuff, you know, anybody that's actively in that trade already, we're waiting for reentry into that buy. Let's see if that triggered on those GU. See if you triggered GU an hour ago for a sell. Let's see. What time was that? 13. J. Triggered on that 15-minute. Ooh. Ooh. One day y'all gonna learn. One day y'all gonna learn. All right. So looking for reentry right around that space, right? For those of you guys that were analyzing that trigger from that time ago, you know, 15-minute being a factor of that 1 hour. You see you guys, these triggers be hitting. You guys just aren't operating in patience. These triggers are called in correction always, 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 always. That's why we don't use these as signals, okay? But when you start analyzing, you'll figure it out. We'll do a class over it. Today's not the class. We'll let you guys do some experimentation, you know, until then, you know, still looking out to analyze that buy, still looking out to analyze that buy, you know, 1 hour. We're pointed up right here at this little rejection space. Let's get to looking at it, right? Got some mixed signals here, but everything tells me that we're just holding on to that as a correction, right? Where we're at, we look in the bigger scope of it. Now that's why we operate with stop loss too, you guys, right? Why we operate with stop loss. Let's talk about it. Well, actually, I'm not even giving you your stop loss is still down here outside the PSAR flip. This is the trade that we're analyzing. You know, I'll expand. You know, I don't want to give too much great room for that. You know, I don't want to short it though. You know, price action comes outside that line right there. You know, by all means, you know, we need to start revisit the board. You know, but you know, price action can very well so come just shy of that and turn back around. Okay, and this is why we trade. You know, lower lot sizes in the beginning while we're learning to, you know, sit through these pullbacks and corrections. All that great activity. We actually, since we're on the call, still see how we hit right there on our indices. How did we affect gold with our job? Actually, let's go to our indices. More importantly, so that 5-minute. All right, we must be waiting for those FOMC meeting minutes, to be honest with you, because that was that jolt. All right, so greater. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. 55. Actual being greater than forecast, good for currency. FOMC meeting minutes, we're going to wait on. We're going to wait on. Looks like the market's waiting on that too, right? Because those job openings, you can see that's a red folder, but we didn't have any liquidity push behind that. No real push of liquidity, so it looks like the market is held up on those meeting minutes, still attaching itself to this buy. You guys can see the heavy up pullbacks that are happening on these sales. I mean, the lower the time frames, you see all this activity, but it looks like we still have strength behind this buy, you guys. See what happened to the S&P. Rejected off of there really nicely. Rejected off of our area of support really nicely as well. I'm not crazy, you guys. I'm telling you, you have to be in position to wait for those moments. When we're talking about strength, indications of strength, you guys, those flat-sided candles with the PSR flips, they're strong indications. And there goes one. No, I was tripping right there. That wasn't a PSR flip. That's just a new candle. All right, that's what we're looking out for. Let's get back into that currency pair really quick. What's going on here? 5 minute. Let's get to that stochastic. Looking like it's going to wrap that up there soon. 3 minute. Yeah, at the bottom of that. So like I said, looking to re-enter off of this space, right? Looking to re-enter off of that space. And then we had 𝐜𝐨𝐽𝐻 that was requested. I thought I was playing when I told you I asked me questions, huh? Let's let this populate, and we'll go over that before we close out. This is why I like to leave this computer alone for you guys, because this mug gets to operating slower and stuff, the more analysis I put up on it. There we go. Wanda. That 15 minute, that's what to do. 15 minute, let's see what that 1 hour is talking about. Looks like you're buying on 𝐜𝐨𝐽𝐻. Now let's talk about entry. 5 minute. If you didn't enter that trade back here, then you're gonna have to wait. 3 minute is gonna be your friend to start watching the pullbacks happen. All right. You don't want to get caught up. I mean, if you just blindly enter that trade, then we're going to then we're subject to more and more corrections. If you've got the trade balance for that, great. Otherwise, I suggest you trade in low lot sizes if you just want to jump in the trade. All right. However, that was a good setup. Thank you for that submission to the class. That was a really good setup there for you guys. And that's why it's important for you guys to keep your computers open, keep everything actively ongoing. We are 7 minutes beyond the call. Tomorrow, you guys, I want you guys showing up with all that ready to go. All right. Let's have our windows open, ready to analyze. Mrs. Reed, are you still on the line with us to close us out in prayer?
I am, sir. Yes. And thank you so much for another super session. Let's pray. Father God, here we are again in your presence to give you glory, praise, and honor. For you alone are worthy. You're worthy of our praise and thanksgiving. And we're so glad that your mind is full of us. Nothing ever takes you by surprise. You are perfecting everything that concerns us. And our hearts are filled with thanksgiving appreciation and gratitude for who you are and what you do. Thank you, God, for bringing us over the highway safely on this long weekend, celebrating our freedom. And you have given to us and given us to the cream of the crop in the persons of Mr. Rogers, our visionary, and Miss Dyer, our trade whisperer, as our founder and co-founder of this, the greatest economic empowerment movement known to mankind. We're thankful, appreciative, and grateful for our second and third generations of educators, as well as the upcoming generations yet to follow who are now in training. Also, our marvelous mob squad. Thank you, God, that your good hand is good upon every member of our Be Your Own Bank movement. Please continue to bless each and every one of us and bind our hearts and minds together even the more as we turn this world upside right. In Jesus' name, amen, and thank God. And this concludes this prophet call, and we'll see you at 12 noon on Clubhouse, and again this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go our way walking under an open heaven so that we can be patient, and we will definitely profit. God bless.